Hey folks, Vic here with your weekly trade video for Friday, July the 18th of 2025, and I have a great video for you today. You know, one of the most valuable skills that a trader can have is knowing where the market is likely to reverse. Really important. And these zones aren't just guesswork. They're quite objective, and they're key for spotting trade entries and knowing where to take profit if you're in a trade or to reduce risk. So in today's video, you're going to see a killer process for identifying these turning points. It's from actually, the video is from back when Darko was a day trader. But the method applies to any style. It doesn't matter, like swing trading, day trading, micro scalping, position trading. It's the same stuff. Also, when you're watching this, think about your own trading and what it is that gets you into a trade or out of a trade in terms of identifying a possible reversal. Okay, let's dive right in here and have a listen to what Darko has to say.
Hi everyone, Darko here for another price action reading school video. In this session, I will talk about how we can identify a potential reversal. Pay very close attention to this video because this is a very important aspect of trading that many traders around the world miss focusing on. Okay, as we all know by now, in an uptrend, as you see in this screenshot in here, when price is making higher lows and higher closes, then obviously this is the continuation leg and this is the correction leg. So the correction is the same as retracement, pullback, correction, so you can call it whatever you want. In this video I will call this correction. Okay, so correction, continuation, correction, continuation. Okay, and in a downtrend it's obviously the opposite, right? So once we have identified a selling pressure or a downtrend, this becomes the continuation leg, and then we are correcting, continuation, correction, continuation, correction, continuation. Okay, and there are times in the market when we don't have a buying pressure, neither a selling pressure. The market is ranging, we are making higher lows and lower highs, and there is no clear direction, but there are always, you know, some type of correction and continuation when price is actually making these lower highs and higher lows. So the only question you have to ask yourself is, how can I identify where I have circled these moves? Okay, so or legs. How can I identify when price is in a correction mode, or how can I identify when we are continuing in the underlying pressure? Okay, so yesterday or my previous video, I did a candlestick formation videos when I went through several candlestick formation like inside bars, pin bars, engulfing, a bullish candle action, a bearish candle action, etc., etc. These candlestick formations are usually, not always, reversal patterns. Okay, so that means when they occur around key levels of support and resistance, what I call a significant neckline or a significant level, those are very remarkable clue that the market is actually giving you. And there are always there are also times when we get these reversal candlestick formation in the middle of nowhere. So they could be like we are in a strong uptrend or buying pressure, and all of a sudden, after price has been correcting itself for a while, then you start seeing a reversal pattern on your higher time frame. So what you see in these three screenshots or these three pictures, these are only on your higher time frame. That means for us day traders, I would say these are my monthly and my weekly chart. Okay, at some point these could also be your daily chart as well, but in first place the monthly and the weekly, because if you are day trading like we do in my service, we are trading the daily chart. So how do you know what the daily chart is doing? where are we heading? Are we heading up? Are we heading down? Are we correcting ourselves? Are we continuing in the underlying trend or pressure? Well, you don't know that unless you know what the monthly and weekly is doing. So I would say, if you don't know what the monthly chart, if you don't know everything you need to know about your monthly chart, your weekly chart, I would say you're missing out, and you're also missing on the bigger picture, and that might be your last puzzle to make it as a trader. Okay, so let's continue showing you this on real screenshots, on real charts. Okay, this is Aussie cat, and I remember this like it was yesterday, because that was not that a long time ago. When I saw this 382 pin bar reversal, this is a bearish pin bar, one of the candlestick formation in my previous video, at a level of resistance. My monthly chart told me that we might be, there's no certainty in trading. We might be in a correction mode because we have a buying pressure on a monthly and weekly. And then the weekly chart, I marked a significant level, a significant neckline on a weekly chart. The weekly chart gave me another clue that confirming the monthly chart, giving me a bearish engulfing. Do you see how this candle is engulfing the previous candle's body? And it's also a bearish candle action and an engulfing. Okay, so now the weekly chart is confirming what the monthly chart gave me a clue, a heads up. Okay, do you guys remember me taking this Aussie cat trade? I promise you, the entire room, every single one of my clients typed in the room about longing. Despite I went in my PMA talking about shorting, talking about a correction mode for the rest of the week or month, and the entire room was looking for longing opportunities. Okay, and I'm not making this up. Just go back and read the chat comment these specific days. Okay, so, and this is what I mean. If you don't know what the monthly and weekly chart is telling you, are we in a correction mode or a continuation mode? Do we have buying pressure, selling pressure? How do you know this was coming? We didn't pick the top. We don't need that, because once price gives you a clue, there is enough money to be made. And I took this trade with a high stop loss by seeing these clues in the market. Okay, and then the daily chart, and this is what I'm telling you, if you're only looking at the daily levels, how do you know that this is coming up? How do you know that the daily chart is actually in a correction mode until we hit something legit and the monthly or the weekly chart is giving you a candlestick formation? You don't, and you are always trading against the underlying trend. And even if you are watching these significant necklines, you are taking loss, losing trades after losing trades, and you have no idea why. Okay, let's continue. This is a weekly chart on Aussie cat. Okay, so how did this move start? Well, it started with a bearish candle formation, a bearish pin bar. How did this move start? Well, first of all, we had a bearish pin bar. Then we had a fakey, price went up, and then we had an engulfing, a bearish engulfing. Okay, in this case, we have a bullish candle action, and this is also an inside bar, bearish candle action, pin bars. Okay, and this continues. You can read this, and in this case, we have an engulfing. Okay, like I said, sometimes they occur in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so when you put this in a context with the monthly chart and then marking significant necklines, it needs to be significant because there are necklines all over the place. Once you know how to mark these levels, once you know what to wait for, then it becomes a different story when you know that when I'm taking these trades now, when I have the monthly and the weekly in alignment, or at least I have these candlestick formation, hands off, let it be. Don't be nervous. There are times when actually, even if you are like trading in an uptrend, in this case we have buying pressure. Once you have identified a correction mode, you take a trade like this, hands off. Even though if the monthly and weekly is making higher lows and higher highs, you are in a buying pressure. We are in a correction mode. So that means, and this is what I mean, once you know how to read price like a professional trader, you will be using hands off more that you are doing today. Okay, same in here in golfing. Price is at resistance, bearish candle action. We are at resistance in golfing and also bearish candle action. And there are always exception to rules where you could find things, to prove this wrong, or hey, what about this and what about that? In this case, this was bearish, price went up, and try to look at the probabilities, the 80-20 probabilities that I've been talking about since November 2017. Okay, there are always exceptions. You can always prove me wrong, but 8 times out of 10, this stuff works. How do you think I've been live trading in front of the entire world for almost 4 years now, or at least 3.5 years? Okay, same in here. Like, when the monthly chart is your best friend. Okay, do you think it's a coincidence that I'm waiting for a monthly candle to close? The entire world is watching this. Like, how did the monthly candle close? How did the weekly candle close? And everything below the weekly chart is noise. You have to use it properly. Like, if you use a daily level, well, it better be a very standalone juicy swing neckline. Okay, so in this case, we have a strong pin bar reversal, and we identify buying pressure. This is an inside bar, this is a pin bar, this is a neutral candle action. I would say this is a strong candle action. And do you see how this, once we identify buying pressure, how things are occurring, properly when price is retracing back? We have actually one of these candlestick formation on all of them. And does this work 100 times out of 100? No, nothing works 100 times out of 100 in trading. It's all about probabilities. Okay, like euro yen, price is double bottoming. You have a clear fakey. This was also a bullish candle action at support. Price fakes you and closes very bullish. For the rest of the months, just look for longer opportunities. Every time the daily chart pulls back, buy. And it's the same. Now we have a monthly correction, and then at support, price gives you an engulfing. This monthly candle is engulfing the previous monthly candle's body, and it's also a bullish candle action where for the next coming months, just buy. Okay, I remember when this happened, when this move happened on a euro yen. Go back and rewatch. The entire room was, hey, why are you looking at a longing opportunity on euro yen? We had a rotation, and we took out all of the swings. Is this how can you even imagine longing Darko? And then all of a sudden people change their minds, some days after, and then okay, let's look for longing opportunities. And this is what I mean. If you don't know what the monthly chart and the weekly chart is doing, you will think a move like this is super bearish. It's actually a buying opportunity. Okay? Inside bar on a weekly chart. Bullish candle action, it's also an inside bar on a weekly chart. Bullish candle action. So therefore, this is what I mean. Do your homework. By the end of the week, how did the weekly candle close? Bullish or bearish or neutral? What is the previous monthly candle close? Bullish, bearish or neutral? Are we at support or resistance? What's the underlying pressure? Are we in an uptrend or a downtrend? Or are we ranging? There are times when it's better to stay aside. Okay? I hope that you enjoy this session, and trust me when I say this, mark my words, until you understand this, you will be forever struggling. Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you a fantastic trading day. Cheers.
So did you catch that part where Darko said that he'd been profitable for 3.5 years? Well, fast forward, he's now been our lead coach for almost 8 years. It'll be 8 years in November this year. And every single year has been profitable, without exception. No flukes, no gimmicks. And, as you probably all know, he shows his pending orders in advance, not after the fact. He hates hindsight, right? Just a rock-solid price action-based approach hasn't changed in all that time. That is what you call a robust system, I'd say, by anybody's standards. And I would say this. If you're serious about improving your trading, you owe it to yourself to dig into this, because results like that don't happen by accident, right? So yeah, in the meantime, drop a comment. Let us know what stood out to you in this video, or what you're struggling with in your own trading. And hey, if this video helped, hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great weekend and trading week ahead. See you next week. Take care.